I don't care if you have 1 million followers or if you think, oh, I have so many friends and family, like they're going to use you. It doesn't work like that. Yeah. Nobody wants to use a new agent.
A new agent, that's it.
Your friends and family don't want you in their business.
So how did you overcome that?
If real estate did not work out for me right now, I'm not going to go cry. I'm going to go figure out something else, get that certificate or that license and try it. My husband says, if you have 2 hands, 2 feet, the sky's the limit. I'm a good businesswoman, so I made sure, everything was on point.
Let's take a little bunny trail here.
Yeah.
You just said, I'm a good businesswoman. What are those things that allow you to confidently say that? Life is full of seasons. You have your years where you're just killing it and you're making a whole bunch of money. And then you have other years where, it's kind of drought. It's kind of tough. Like things come at you very difficult. But the key is that when you're up here, got to make wise decisions.
A lot of people see that money and they want to give themselves big salaries. It doesn't work like that.
You could do anything. Like, with the exit plan that you guys had, why do you choose to be a realtor? I find realtors very interesting in that they are business owners, and because they are business, it's like you're / business owner, but / you're also an employee of the brokerage, because technically that's how it is. Right. But you understand the business aspect, I would say, a lot more than most, because you have another very real business that you started before you came into the real estate industry. Yes. So you understand what it is to have employees. You understand what it is to have a marketing budget. You understand what it is to have your CFO and have systems and a bunch of order in the business. Whereas a lot of people in real estate, you just come very scrappy. It's like hustlers, which is great. The work ethic is there. But in a lot of cases, it is, a lot of people's first businesses. So you're kind of learning as you go.
Right, exactly.
So you had that little bit of a leg up coming into it, right?
As far as real estate?
Yeah.
Well, I grew up, my parents, so I'm from Florida, and they were investors. So I grew up, going to the apartment buildings and the different properties. So I grew up, I would say, in a real estate family.
I think it was a post that you made or something where they were in the medical industry. They came from, it's like true rag to riches story, right?
I mean, pretty much. They're hustlers. My mom is from Philippines, dad's from India. Yeah. They were in the medical field.
Did they meet here?
They met in Detroit.
Okay.
Yeah. They were in college.
They met in America.
Yes.
They did their thing. But what you're saying is like, no, my family's a real estate family, from the aspect of like investors, from the aspect of like they're working, saving money, and then buying these investment properties. Yes. So you're saying even apartment buildings?
Apartment buildings.
That's so huge.
And so huge, especially for immigrants.
That's because in your mind, what they're instilling in you is not only are they creating generational wealth, but in your mind, you're like, I can do anything.
Exactly. And I think that's why I grew up with such a hustle. Even now to this day, I have friends that are like stay-at-home moms. My friend group is very diverse. I have friends that work 9 to 5s, friends that own their own businesses. But even sometimes I tell my husband, like, I'm so tired. I don't want to work. I'm just going to be a stay-at-home mom. And he looks at me and he's like, okay, try it. It's not you. And I guess he's right, because I'll be like, okay, I'm going to just take the week off. I'm going to have my assistants do everything. I need me time. Yeah. 3 hours later, bored. I'm like, I can't do this.
That's how it is.
Mom, make me lunch. No, you know what? I'd rather be in the field.
Exactly.
Let's just.
But it's so funny because like, I think you're just like, every mom I think struggles with it. Every mom that's a business owner.
Right.
And that has this like inner drive in them. It feels so guilty giving their all in the business.
Right.
So then they're like, no, I got to be with my children. They're your children. You're like, no, but I got to be in the business. So it's like this constant, like, back and forth thing of like, I know, but I get it. Especially with little kids.
It is. And I love my babies and I'm there for them for everything.
You're a good mom. That's good.
I just feel like what's in it for me is that I love making money. I'm not going to deny it. I feel like, I know there's a point where you're like, okay, enough is enough. But like my husband has a good career. He works. He makes good money that can support our family. So when I make money, I feel like I'm helping towards our goals, right? So
because it's not just making money, Shanti. Like that's the easy answer that everybody understands. But it goes deeper than that. It's like, the amount of impact that you bring to the world.
Yes.
Regardless of the money. Like
That's
the money
true.
comes.
It comes.
But I see you when you help a family out. Like there's like this inner thing inside of you that you have to be helping somebody. You have to be bringing impact.
No, I do. And sometimes I help others before myself. Like I run myself dry. Yeah. I'm the type that I answer at 2 a.m. and my husband looks at me and he's like, you better not. And I'm like, I have to. You don't understand, because I know being on the other end of it, buying a property, and stressful. You just need that call, the assurance from your agent. Like, it's going to be okay. I'm going to work on it 100%. First thing in the morning. And that they can sleep good at night. Yeah. And I think that's, I do love to help people. I like people to feel at ease. I like my transactions. That's how I've become so successful, is because I'm like a concierge too. Yeah. Like I am doing everything from A to Z. You don't even have to, you just have to come to me with good credit and the down payment and I'll do the rest, you know?
No, but that's so good. That's so good, because, but this, like who you are as a person, just wanting to help people out, wanting to be there for people, starting with your children,
and my husband,
your husband, it translates to everything else that you do. So going back to that, because I thought I had a really interesting question right now that we were talking about your parents, and we were talking about how they instilled in you the value of hard work, and how you saw them firsthand work their way out of poverty,
right?
And buy these properties and do all of that. How do you teach? Because, okay, I feel like you go through this generational thing where, you're coming out of poverty and there's like all these lessons that you learned from there. There's a lot of bad, but then there's a lot of good in that you learn the value of hard work. Okay. But then like I'm seeing our children grow up a little bit differently. How do you still like instill that in them? You know what I'm saying? Like, cause they're growing up differently.
Yeah, they're spoiled.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So like
they're for birthdays, he doesn't want to go do it at Chuck E. Cheese. He wants a jet to invite his 10 closest friends to the Maldives. That's the things they ask for now.
How old is your son?
11. 11. He's like, no.
Awesome.
I know. Awesome. I'm like, we're literally doing everything for them.
Wait, he seriously asked you for that?
Oh yeah, this is normal.
No joke.
No joke.
This is just normal life for him.
Normal life.
That's insane.
Insane, right? So.
But how beautiful is that?
It is. It's good that we can say yes. Obviously, there's a point when there's no, and obviously he has chores around the house. I mean, I give him $5 a sign, $5 to put signs out for me on the weekends.
Wow,
and there's about 20 signs, and he picks them up, drops them off.
That's good.
Sometimes he does it in his little like go-kart. He'll have like 2 go backs. I'm like, you handle it. And I mean, it's not even about the signs. It's like, you have to make your money, do it. You want to earn money. You want a new bike. That's so whatever price, go take people's trash out. Offer, just pulling the black bins. People hate that. So I think it's important, because even now when I ask him, like, what do you want to do? Oh, I'm going to the NFL. And I'm like, yeah, but when you go to college, like what, like it's not just playing sports. 100%. Like, what is your backup plan?
Right. Right. What do you want to do? But they're growing up with like the world at their fingertips. You know what I'm saying? Like with opportunities, because I do think that it's very important for us to have the mindset like of our kids are going to start from our shoulders. But like now, like how high are your shoulders now? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like we started from our parents' shoulders and now our kids are starting from our shoulders.
Right.
And then just thinking, in the future generations, if we want that cycle to continue, there are these lessons. So that's so cool to hear you say that you do that you have them earn, a few things and, not, present the world so easy to them, because that's something that I'm doing as well with my kids.
Right. Because everything, you're like, here. I know, like in the beginning when we were so excited with our first son, we would put like $50, $100 for like when they lose teeth.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, no, we're not doing that. You can get $5. I know.
That's
so
hilarious.
Even birthday parties for kids, now you can't give $20. Yeah. You're giving $100 every time. And
it's
I'm
like a wedding, bro.
I know. I'm like, I should just go get a gift. Instead of being, bring a big gift that's like $40 versus having to give.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're just like, oh, I can't make it to the store.
It's the expectation.
It is.
No, you're right. You're right. No, you're absolutely right.
But if I could rewind talking about my parents. So when they started a staffing agency for nurses. And in the 90s, they built their business so fast. They were making $1 million a month.
That's amazing.
In the 90s, right?
In the 90s.
And it was just them two. My mom was like the go-getter, like going to the hospitals, trying to get the nurses or staffing. My dad was doing the admin stuff. And when I was 16, they're like, we're going to sell it because, you and your brother don't seem interested. We didn't because I saw how stressed they were, running this business. They were so stressed. Like they were working late. And we're like, no, we don't want to do that. Rewind. And then fast forward to then I was 20 and they're like, are you sure we're going to sell it? We're like, no, we don't want to do that. Do you know that I'm like, do you know what that thing would have been worth now?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
So I call my mom. I'm like, Mom, could we start another one? And she's like, honey, I'm old now. Like,
that's so funny.
But I know it's just, it's crazy, but life takes you to where you're supposed to be. I mean, they wanted me to be a doctor.
Yeah.
Indian dad, Filipino mom. They wanted.
Of course.
I went to college for that, and I was supposed to.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not doing it. I don't even like blood.
Sure.
I'm a businesswoman.
Yeah, you are a businesswoman, and you're good at that. So let's talk about that because I think because we're talking about a succession plan. We're saying, okay, a lot of what we do, almost everything that we do, is for the next generation, meaning our children. And I just saw a podcast about that. About having a succession plan. I forgot the numbers, but so I think it was like 60 or 70% of businesses in America are small businesses, meaning that they're family-owned businesses.
Right.
And so the question is, are my kids going to take over? Are they going to be interested? But this whole talk around succession plan, have you thought anything about that? Because you have your real estate company, but you also have a humongous behemoth of a trucking company.
So we actually sold that.
Oh, you sold that?
We sold it. So that, me and my husband started that together with literally our savings. We bought a truck and then we scaled to 25 trucks very fast. And then COVID, we were killing it. And then 2022, all these laws changed. A lot of the trucking businesses actually changed. They went to other states. They incorporated and, got their authority and all that because of all these laws in California. It was called the AB5 law. So that was a big thing too with like Uber drivers where they have to have work.
That's right.
Yeah. So it was
the subcontractors.
Exactly. Sure. So you had to make them employees and that was killing us with that. And then on top of that, fuel went up. And rates stayed the same. And it became a headache because it was like, oh, the truck broke down. Like you were breaking even at that point. So the good thing is we made so much money that we saved, for those days. But then it got exhausting. I would get a call at 4 a.m. with an angry driver and then say, F this, I'm going to leave this truck running in the middle of Utah.
They would call you.
Yeah. Or like not me, but I would get it
people.
from my, the manager on, like, hey, like, they're really mad. Like they're just not having a good day. Like,
That's wild.
Yeah. But luckily my husband had his Class A. One thing we're going to do when we own businesses, we're going to have that trade too. So he had his Class A license and at least he can go fly out there and do what he has to do.
Go get it.
Exactly.
I love that. Just, I'm going to go get my truck. Of course
I'm going to go get it. So we ended up selling it. We made a good amount of money and we just took that money and invested in other things. Yeah.
But it sounds very familiar to your parents' story in that they built a business and then they weren't afraid to sell it. So I think a lot of people, they build a business, but then like their whole identity is in that business. Is like, you're never going to sell it.
I mean, the point of business is to run it up and then sell it and then do something else. I mean, obviously if it's making you money, that's great. But for how long are you going to do it? And if you want to pass it down to your kids, they may or may not be interested.
That's it. That's it.
Or franchise. The sky's the limit.
Keep it going, Shanti, because you know what? A lot of people this isn't the way that a lot of people think. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, I'm going to have the business and I'm just going to continue it, and then I'm going to pass it on to my children. In many cases, that makes sense.
Yes.
But to have this option of like, no, you can actually sell it. And then you can move on and make wise investments, such as kind of like what your parents did. You're saying they bought a lot of property. They bought apartment buildings.
Yes.
And, the thing is, one of the biggest lessons that I have just learned these past 3 years as the market has shifted. I remember I was having a conversation with a client, who's a realtor. He's like, yeah, Pablo, I had a business. We had 200 employees and that we were making this much money and it was great. It was going great. And then I'm like, why are you in real estate? Like, why don't you keep that? He's like, probably got to understand this. Life is full of seasons. So you have your years where you're just killing it and you're making a whole bunch of money. And then you have other years where, it's kind of drought. It's kind of tough. Like things come at you very difficult. So he's like, so first of all, understand that it's not always going to be the same. Okay. Understand that it's not always going to be up here and it's not always going to be down here. But the key is that when you're up here, you got to make wise decisions.
Absolutely.
With your money, such as saving it and then invest it.
Right. Because the money comes and goes, but you need to save it for a rainy day when that truck breaks down or whatever happens in your business. A lot of people see that money and they want to give themselves big salaries. It doesn't work like that. Because then that's why so many businesses go out of business, right? We just have to think smart.
So Shanti, you could do anything. Like, with what you guys have done over there, with the exit plan that you guys had, you could choose to, like, why do you choose to be a realtor? Why real estate?
Because I'm good at it. I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, there are times where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted. Because everybody thinks all you do is look cute.
Heck no.
Right?
Man, no way.
All you do is look cute and you do open houses and you can just make, $50,000 a month, $20,000 a month. It doesn't work like that.
Not at all.
It doesn't. It's it's stressful. It's one of the biggest investments a person makes, right? When you buy a home, whether it's investment or their dream home or their first home, 1,000%. It's a huge investment. It's not a car, a new bag. So you have to do it properly and carefully because that's their money. So
what do you do to prospect? Like, how do you? Because when you started it, like, did you already have a really good sphere of influence that you're like, oh, I got these people, and you're just a hustler woman, so you're like put A and B together. Actually, but how do you?
No, the thing is, people think once you get your real estate license, I don't care if you have 1 million followers or if you think, oh, I have so many friends and family, like they're going to use you.
Doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work like that. Yeah. Nobody wants to use a new agent.
A new agent, that's it. Yeah,
nobody, like, I wouldn't use me. Like, who, like, like if I was a brand new agent, there's so much in real estate that your negotiating skills, what you can and can't do, what you can ask for credits. There's so many things. And also, a lot of your friends and family don't want you in their business.
That's it.
They can, your friend that looks, oh my God, so rich and life is popping.
I'm not going to show you my numbers. Right. I'm not going to show you the reality.
Because we see the numbers, right? Because we're going to coordinate with the lenders. 1,000%. And a lot of people just don't want people they know in their business.
So how did you overcome that?
Well, I'm very private for one. Loyalty, my fiduciary duties to my clients are very important. So I don't know. I think I'm just so good at it, and they're like, they want to use me. Like,
what do you mean you're private? Because you have a public persona, but
as far as their personal stuff, I'm not like, people know they can come to me and trust me, whether they're having issues at their house, whether it's financial or marital. Like, hey, I need to sell it because we're not. And I do my job, and I close it, and we move on.
100%.
But it's just not what people think, because they get their license and then they're like, oh my God, none of my friends and family are using me. Like, and then they'll see like their best friend use another agent, and you can't, it is what it is. There's somebody's mom, aunt, uncle, best friend, grandma. There's so many agents, right? So, but what my strategy was, because I was door knocking. You started door knocking? I was door knocking.
Wow.
That's
awesome.
Yeah, I was cold calling.
Where were you door knocking?
In LA. So at that time I was in the South Bay area, because that's where my we were living in. And I knew nothing about real estate. As far as I knew the other end, right? The investing and purchasing, but selling is a whole different ballgame.
So retail,
and first of all, I feel like you can't be, it's not that you can't be, but it's easier to go to an agent that's purchased properties, right? Because you know the other end.
100%.
Right? So
100%.
If this is a tip, if you are an agent, I would say start the process, try it, see what happens. Try to buy something
You're
small.
saying buy your own house.
Yeah. Because honestly,
go through the process yourself. Go through the process,
so
right? So then you can walk somebody else through it.
Exactly.
100%.
But my way.
And if it's not here in California, go out
but you have to understand, because how are you gonna? You get what I'm saying?
It's buy a little condo in Alabama,
somewhere, or Detroit for like 10,000 something.
That's true. That's good.
So
That's good.
My way was, I was door knocking. I hated it because I always got the door slammed on me. Cold calling when they hung up on me just wasn't my thing. I tried it. I've read a lot of books, a lot of successful agents. That was what they were doing back, 10 years ago. And I don't think anyone's really door knocking like that now. They might be, but I know where I sell in the communities, it's So
that's right. In your communities, you can't really.
Yeah, because it's soliciting. But I was hosting open houses for other agents. So I would look on listings like 3 million, listings that I would dream of to have, as a new agent, like everybody would. And I would look at homes that were on the market for 30 days or more in different areas. I would do Malibu, Santa Monica, things that weren't even, And I would see that, okay, this has been on the market 40 days. Let me call the agent and see. I had a script. I would say, hi, I still kind of remember it. Hi, this is Shanti Hoffman with so-and-so. I have a bunch of buyers in your area. I'd love to host your open house. Give me the opportunity. I would have like a whole script. Most listing agents hate hosting open houses. Like a lot of them after 30 days, they're like, that's it. So mine wasn't really to get buyers. It was to market. Content is king because then I would get a photographer, videographer, and post me putting my signs out at that listing. A lot of people don't know that a lot of the agents hosting open houses, it's not their listing. But to the
strategy
to the world, it's like, oh my God, she's selling $3 million homes.
And it helps the people that were doubting you in the beginning. This person's never gonna make it. Like, I don't know if I could trust them. They have never sold a home.
They're like, oh my God, she's selling 3 million, 4 million, 6. I think I even hosted like a $10 million listing. Didn't know what I was doing, but I'm like, I have buyers. I just wanted to get in. And it was all like, posting. And then in those areas that my open house signs started becoming, they would see, because I would start doing the same areas. I would just literally if I had to do it every day, I would. That was my way. And then that people were like, oh my God, she's killing it.
That's mind a good you, strategy.
Mind you, I never probably sold a home. And I was just doing until one day I got that call. Somebody came through an open house. And mind you, when other agents call, they have to be older listings because the listing agents are gonna want the fresh
exposure in the
exactly.
Beginning.
So they have to look for
afterwards. They're kind of desperate.
After then, it's like I'm like I'll host every week, and it looks really good for the for their
seller
client
too. Because it's like, oh man, we're making
every
things happen.
Week. So
I'm having my assistant go out there.
That's what I'm, and it's exactly, and that was my way. And then I started getting. Then I was able to get like what you do, right? What you preach, content. Content is king. People forget if you don't talk about it. So I would just post, all my different videos and that was my way. And then eventually somebody came in. She was one of the open houses where I found my first buyer, and she was buying a property for her daughter. It was like a $300,000 property in East LA. I'm a high roller now, but I don't say no. Even now, even I love helping everybody. From that one, I just went on, and then I started selling athletes and entertainers, and just
I want to ask you about that. But another thing that I see about you that works to your benefit is that you came to this industry because you already had your trucking business when you came to the industry, right?
Yes.
So you're coming from a position of strength, meaning that people can smell desperation. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to get this listing or else you're not going to pay your bills. It kind of works against people because it's like a turnoff. It's like, can I trust someone that's like really desperate in that desperate situation? So you're coming from a position of strength. And I think that really benefits, especially the demographic that you are serving.
Right.
Because they see that like, no, you've proven yourself in business. You've proven yourself that, if you were someone that couldn't be trusted, well, your business wouldn't have grown this much.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, or this person wouldn't have trusted you, or this celebrity wouldn't have trusted you, or that NBA or that football player, NBA player wouldn't have trusted you. So what was your experience like with your first, you don't have to say names, but like, what was your experience like with your first celebrity client?
My first experience, I was nervous because I didn't want to mess it up. Like one of my first big deals.
Yeah.
And it's okay to ask for help. That's why you have a broker, right? That's why and for me, I'm not scared or nervous to be like, let me just try to figure this out. I'm going to make sure I get it right the first time, because guess what? They're going to send me referrals. Let me make sure I do it right. And honestly, I went with the flow, acted like, I know my stuff, mind doing the back. I had my broker like, you should do this, make sure you do this. I had, my TC, everybody was checking everything, because also in real estate, I mean, there's fraud, and it could be fraud as far as when I was just reading the other day, the number one, there's different types of frauds, right? So if you ask me what these floors are, it looks like wood to both of us. And I say, oh, it's real hard wood, but it's actually like luxury vinyl. But it wasn't me like, sure. It was just like, oh, and then they move in and it's not that wood. Guess who's getting sued? It's like these little things. So you have to know. So, and I've learned throughout, making sure, because guess what? Nobody wants to go through litigation.
100%.
So my thing is, I just asked, I went with the flow because I'm a good businesswoman. So I made sure, everything was on point, and then then it was just like no turning back.
Let's take a little bunny trail here.
Yeah.
You just said, I'm a good businesswoman. What do you feel like at your core? Like you're like confident in this, like this is what I'm a good businesswoman, and this is why, and that's why. And this is the skill I've developed, and that's the skill I've developed. Like, what are those things that that allow you to confidently say that?
I don't know if it's because it's good and bad, because I hear my husband say, like, you're just too Aggie. Do you know, like,
what is that?
Aggie's like, I'm always like a worry warrior. Like, I like to make sure, I like to make sure like our bills are good for like how many years. Like, I can't know that, like, oh my God, it's like four. So that's how I am with business, with my life, with my family, with my friends. I like to make sure everything is on point A to Z and perfect. I know life doesn't work like that, but I feel like that's a great aspect as far as me being a good businesswoman, because I'm just so anal about everything, and I want everything to go smoothly. From even their gifts, their closing gifts, from everything. If I can change one thing, it would be, which I'm working on now, is not trying to be that perfect, because then you get in your head and you get all jumbled, and then you start stressing out. Yeah. So I just like to make sure everything is smooth, but I don't know why I just feel like I'm just a go-getter. I know the end goal. Okay, so
go-getter. Yeah, that's
I know
huge.
the end goal, and I know that what I can accomplish. I feel like in this life, you can do anything you want. And you want to be a lawyer, a doctor, the president, it's there for you. It's just stepping out of your bubble, and you can do it, I mean, even before I was an agent, before we had the trucking business, I went to school for business, and then I didn't know what I wanted to do. And then I was like, oh, I want to open a nail salon. Like, that was my thing. I went and got my manicurist license, was going to open it. And I'm like, I don't want to touch feet. Not for me. Then I was like, oh, I want to open like an Allstate insurance company. So what did I do? I got my insurance license, and I was like, I don't want to be in the office like that all day. Like, I literally kept trying things till I figured it out. And I feel like even now in our generation, even at whether you're 30, 40, 50, people are scared to start over, right? They're scared to take that risk. And for me, I feel like it's okay if you have to start over. If real estate did not work out for me right now, I'm not going to go cry. I'm going to go figure out something else, get that certificate or that license, and try it.
Just get it done.
People don't want to start over, Like, let's say someone has a failed music career and that's all they know. Like, if that's not for you, figure something else out. There's so much money in this world, and we can go get it. If you have my husband says, if you have 2 hands, 2 feet, the sky's the limit. If you can walk, if you can drive, we're in America. I know right now America looks like people don't want to be here because of all the stuff that we don't have to talk about. But I mean, people come here with $1 and a dream. And look at, proof is in the pudding. My parents, all these other immigrants, if they can do it, it's like, what's stopping us here?
Man, you're listening to this, bro. You gotta get out there and do it. Get it done.
I mean, we can do anything. Like, I'm gonna say that again. We can do anything in this world. Our kids can do anything.
That's it.
So right now, as adults, as parents, it's what our kids are accomplishing. That's what reflects us. Not even us anymore, right? If your kid is that star athlete, if your kid is getting straight A's, if he's going to the best schools, that's a reflection on who? Your parents, on you.
It's a referendum. Of course it is.
Obviously, we can't blame if something happens and they go through the wrong path,
the opportunities are there.
Exactly. So I'm not going to say that because I know, just our kids' success is our success, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why when parents are like, go be a doctor because it makes them look good. But in life, things happen, people go the wrong way, but it doesn't,
But just like, the thing is that, when you grow up around so much poverty, and you grow up around so much lack, and like, you don't have this, or you wish you had that, everybody else has, it's a journey to begin to think that way.
Right.
Because you don't have the wins under your belt. Or the
vision, you haven't seen it.
You don't even know how to have vision. Like for you, vision is like, very, very, very small-minded, So when you get around other people, when you have conversations with people that have done way more than you when you're the little guy in the room.
Right.
And you're allowed to learn from others because you have access. It just, it changes your mindset. And I know that's what, that's even what you do with your children, because part of the reason why, they go to the schools they go to, they live in the communities they live in, they have the friendships that they have, is because you want them to see the world as a small world. Exactly. It's like if you want to have a conversation, tell me anybody, just give me a name of someone. He's 2 contacts away from us.
Exactly.
100%. You know what I'm saying? Like, give me any name. And we can have access. If you have something to bring and it's like, wow, you have this idea or you have this thing, we're 2 contacts away from whoever you want in this world.
It's true. Absolutely. And then especially with social media, that's why I don't think people shouldn't even be small-minded anymore. You see TikTokers and influencers, right? I'm not saying because a lot of them, that's everybody. I'm not saying like, that's what they should focus on, but it just shows you that it's not where you're from, it's where you're at and where you're going to go.
So you bring this mindset to these people that you serve. And obviously, like you said, you have a $700,000 listing, you're probably not going to turn that down, right? Like
I won't even turn down a $200,000.
Yeah, that's what
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm blessed to have luxury listings, but I like to work with everybody. And I think that's also like a people look at me like, oh, like, no, I don't want you to sell. You don't have to sell my $500,000 condo. But I'm like, no, I want to.
And let's clear that up right now.
Yeah. Oh, anybody can call me and can reach me and I will sell your $50,000 land. I don't turn down anything. And I will treat my clients the same as if whether I'm selling them a $10 million home or a $400,000 home. So guys, you need to understand that I work with everybody, first-time home buyers. And if they're not ready now, I will put them with my lender and put them on track. Let's say they're ready in a year or 2 years and they just want to know the process. I'm right a call away.
I love that.
I tell people like it's harder to get a G-Wagon than a house.
You're saying it's harder to get
a G-Wagon than a house. People
That's
think,
true.
Yeah, because you have to have like car history. You have to do this and that. Yeah. A house, people don't realize you don't have to put as much as you think down. When I have friends call me like, oh, there's this condo I want to get. It's like $700,000. I tell them the numbers, and they're like, what? That's it?
Yeah.
Wow. It's not.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
So going back to your celebrity clients, just, to finish that conversation, you said you had your first one, but I can see the draw, I can see like how, because you're looking for someone you can trust. You're looking for someone that is hungry, but not too hungry that, they're going to be greedy and, try to, cut some corners. But what's that like? Because I know a lot of people try to have that as, their clientele, try to break into that, market. But what's your experience been like there?
So, see, my marketing is different. I think it was like after 10 years of being in real estate, I sent out mailers for the first time. Like, mine is really like referral base, which I'm very blessed. Thank you to all my clients that refer me. I love you guys. But my approach is differently. Like even you follow me on Instagram, I promote lifestyle, right? So I feel like a lot of those clients can also relate. And I pitch Porter Ranch. I live there. Everybody knows that, it's no secret, right?
Yeah. Sure.
But when I post, like, I'm not posting like houses every single day, right? I'm selling my lifestyle, which is the truth.
I see.
I love my community. I love my friends, the schools, the restaurants, the the Pilates, the nail shops. So I'm showing my lifestyle. Some people are like, oh my God, you put too much out there. No, I've brought in so many people that would never, 5 years ago, you would ask them, would you move to Porter Ranch? They would say no.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But you show them what the lifestyle
I show them
like.
the lifestyle, whether it's me in my golf cart dropping my son to Sierra Canyon, right? Like who?
You drop him off in your golf cart?
Yeah, I do.
At Sierra Canyon?
Yeah, wow, I know.
That's awesome.
I know. We should do a content day for that.
Yeah, come on. Hey, that's so cool though. So
but I'm saying it's the lifestyle. Yeah.
You drive to Sierra Canyon on the golf cart and then you drive back home.
I drive back home, like it's like a little like circle, but it shows you it's that type of community.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with that. Porter Ranch.
When I have my girls working out, we're posting at the park. Yeah. Probably 100 of us when we do our walks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And so then being that referrals are your main source of business, your sphere of influence is huge. And so I hear you started a new group. What is it? Porter Ranch Ladies?
Yeah, Ladies of Porter Ranch.
That's so cool.
Yes, there's about 700 women in there. And honestly, that's my closing too. I'll be honest. Whenever I have like a whole spiel on it, but when people come in and I see it's a family, I tell them like, you could even join the Ladies of Porter Ranch.
Yeah.
And they're like, what is that?
Did you start that?
Yes.
You started that group?
I started it.
And you already have 700 ladies in there?
Yes. And actually, we probably have about 400 like pending. So now because it's growing, I didn't think it was going to be like that. And
how did you start that? Like, tell me about that. That sounds so cool. It's so interesting.
Well, actually, a friend of mine messaged me and she was like, we should do a ladies group, right? Uh-huh. And then I'm like, yeah, that's good. Because I also like run a lot of like the neighborhood group chats. Mm-hmm. And it became just like a WhatsApp group for like the ladies in Porter Ranch, right? Because we love like, oh, can you refer a nanny who's like a good nail tech, a masseuse, whatever. And then something clicked to me. I'm like, oh my God, I should turn this into like a social club, right? And everybody started hearing about it. Because mind you, in this group of the WhatsApp, there's doctors, lawyers, judges, celebrities, like like literally everybody. Like it's like a really, people's numbers that we shouldn't have are in there because it's such a great community of women. So cool. And I was like, I need to turn this into a social club. It grew so fast that then I reached out to some of my other friends and I said, hey, let's run this together. So it's a few other women too, because we have that's awesome. Like one that runs like the marketing, one that runs our philanthropy, one that runs
for the group.
Yeah. So now we're all owners of it. Because obviously in order to build, of course I want to be like, let me just be me. But no, if you want to build something the right way, depend on others. You have to work with other people. Collaborate. So now the other women, we're like killing it. We've done events already like Casa Elena. We've done celebrity golf tournaments. We've helped with the fires, did donation drives. We've just been killing it and it's amazing.
How long ago did you guys start this?
We're going on maybe like a year.
1 year?
1 year. We have people pending that are wanting to come from Calabasas, West Hollywood,
but that's why you're like,
City. So right now we're gonna. I mean, I'm just like it's because I think they want to just get in that network, right? But
I know what it is. People want community.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, people just want community. They want to belong somewhere. Like it's like, yeah, I've made it. I've been very successful here, but I'm missing friendship and I'm missing connection. And yes, I'm raising my kids. Yes, I'm with my husband. And yes, we may have a few social events here and there, but I think people are long for community.
Yeah, a lot of us. And even as we get older, you start to hit that like midlife crisis where it's repetitive. It's wake up, drop the kids to school, make dinner, go to work. And then it's like, okay, it becomes repetitive, right? So now it's like, okay, you look forward to, we have like women like wine nights. And sometimes all of us are even crying. Because you just don't know. And women need that. Men do too. But the women, they get around women and sometimes you just can't talk about it. But when you hear the girl next to you say like what she's going through in life, you feel open and you get to talk about it and you get advice. I mean, it's really good aside from just like the fun stuff. We really get to know each other.
Yeah.
And it's good.
Because that's what it's about. It's about the connection. And here you are just making these connections and because you're creating a community where other people are connecting with one another. And so, maybe some, these ladies have been feeling lonely. maybe like what you're saying, the mundaneness of the midlife.
Right, exactly. Or they just want to do play dates and connect with other, because really, like, I know we all follow each other probably on social media, but like, are you going to, like, if you DM me and you say, hey, like, hang out, I'm going to be like, oh, I don't really know you. But when you're now like seeing, part like of the group, communicating and part of the group, you feel like you belong to something. And then they started referring their friends like, oh my God, this group is amazing.
That's really exciting.
Yeah, it's really exciting. And also, it also helps me for my business too, because
1,000%.
Because guess what? They're like, I don't even have to say what I'm in there for. Yeah. They want to know who's this girl that started this. So I feel like my presence and my actions speak for myself. So I don't have to go out and be like, I'm an agent. No, like, you're going to want to Google me and see who is this person. Like, I see her name everywhere.
That's so cool, Shanti. Man, that's something to really be proud of, because this is just who you are. It's so cool. Yeah. Like, you're just, you bring these people together. You're kind to these people. You're creating this space where people can feel accepted and valued. And you're just, I think it also enriches the community.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, it does. 100%.
It enriches the community because everybody's like closer and everybody's doing philanthropy like, together.
Hi. Yeah. Hi. Yeah. How are you? I mean, it was so beautiful when we were, when the fires happened. So many families got together. There was a whole bunch of us at the Whole Foods just collecting donations, and literally so many people came together to help, and they dropped off goods, and then we drove it to Pasadena. And it was just beautiful to see like how really a great community you can have. And it doesn't have to be Porter Ranch. Anywhere you go, it's a movement. And it feels, it is. It feels good to really help other people, because your blessings come back too.
I think realtors at their best, because we started this conversation, we were saying, why are you doing real estate? Like, this is so brutal, and it can be such exhausting, like so like draining and all around.
Wait, are you an agent too?
No, that's not my thing. Okay. Like, I have a license,
okay,
but that's not, that's not really my focus. But I think at their best, at realtors' best, they're like mayors of their little town.
Which I'm honestly, they're like, Shanti's the mayor
That's
of.
what I'm saying.
They're like, everybody, like in Whole Foods, they're like, hey Shanti, hey Shanti. I'm like, hey girl.
That's so
I know. And I mean, awesome. It's cool. Wow. I love it. Yeah. They're like, oh, here's the Hoffmans.
Yeah, but it's like something that's inside of you. So I think realtors at their best, at their worst, I mean, we don't want to talk about that.
Right.
We don't need to talk about that. But at their best, realtors are mayors of their town that bring people together, that help people, that know everybody's secrets,
right?
That everybody trusts,
right?
Because they're just very trustworthy. You could talk to them, easy to talk to. Like, hey, this is going on in my marriage. What do you think? This is, right. Hey, can you recommend someone? I need someone I can trust. Come into the house, etc. So, I understand. Makes sense.
I think I have everybody's house key in Porter Ranch.
That's what I'm saying.
Next time I'm thinking about it, I feel like everybody, or they'll call me for every contractor.
Shanti, and you're barely starting. Think about that.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
You just started this group a year ago.
I know.
And this is the business.
No, we have visions. Yeah. You guys will see. Maybe next time you could have the whole, all of us here, and you can really talk.
Let's see what we'll fit. Yeah,
mean, it's like 5 of us.
Okay, cool.
And they're all as cool as me. They're dope.
Hey, man, let's have that conversation. Yeah. But you know what? I just love it, man. I love seeing this. You believe a lot in yourself, and I think that's very important. So I think maybe there's some people watching, and they're like, they've had these ideas, right? Whether it's starting a business, or they're realtors and they want to start a group, and it's in their heart, and they have this idea, but a lot of people are too scared, and they don't have that confidence, like you have that confidence, and say, man, if I fall flat on my face, whatever, I'll get up and I'll go get another certificate, and then I'll do something else.
I'm not afraid to fail.
Beautiful.
That's like a huge thing. I'm not afraid because obviously I feel like either I'm going to do it and I'm going to do it really good. And if it doesn't work out, I tried. At least I know that I tried. Because I'm not perfect, right? There's so many things in life that have not worked out.
Nobody's qualified. Nobody's like knows the exact path on whatever it is. Like, you didn't know a year ago where Porter Ranch Women was going to end up.
No, and we're still growing, and we have so many plans, and I didn't know that I was going to be, one of the top agents in Porter Ranch, right? Where people are like, I know you. I want you to, like, my phone, is like ringing. I have to keep building my team and keep, you know, it's just, I didn't know where I was going to be today, you know, even now when my parents, cause sometimes they'll be like, you know, we did wish you were a doctor. Like, you know, you know how parents are. I'll be like, oh my God. And I'll tell my mom, I make more than a doctor. Yeah. I'm selling to doctors. Yeah. Like, you have to understand that. Yeah. So it's not, it's really like what your plan is your plan. So now, of course, they're proud of me. Sure. But you just have to do what you want to do, not what somebody else wants you to do.
Well, because, and again, you know, there's the money aspect, but you're bringing a lot of impact.
Yes.
You're bringing a lot of impact
1,000%
at what you're doing, because it's not just, oh, I'm going to help sign here for the house.
Right.
Like,
no.
You know, do this. Like, look at all these things that you're doing that it's like, no, this is running Porter Ranch, women of Porter Ranch, running Women of Porter Ranch is me working on my real estate business.
Exactly. 100%.
So me bringing these women together, me setting up these events, which it seem like you really enjoy setting up these events. I love them. So hosting people is really big. Yeah, that's awesome. See, this is like part of your job, you know?
It is. So, it's my marketing too. Right. I mean, a lot of the neighbors want me to run for like the HOA president, but I'm not stepping into that because nobody ever likes people.
Oh, heck no, yeah.
I know, because I know a lot of agents, that's what they do too. They join like the board there, but I feel like I have an impact already. I don't want people to get mad at me if I have to send them a letter about their trees.
And they will.
So I just, you know,
that's smart.
I want to keep building with our team, the ladies of Porter Ranch, and keep, you know, changing lives. It's great.
You're doing it, Shanti.
Yeah.
You're doing it.
And being a good mom and wife, it's hard. Like sometimes I wake up like I'm exhausted. Like this morning, so last night I hosted one of my best friend's baby showers in Porter Ranch, and I don't really drink, but I was like, I'm living today. I had a couple of drinks, had an open house the whole weekend. And I'm like, this morning, I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to be an adult today. You call me like, we'll be ready at 11:30. I'm like, oh my God, thank God. And there's going to be those days where you're like, oh, I just want to lay in bed all day and just turn off everything. But, you know, we just got to get through life, maneuver, find the best way and easiest way to be happy. Because even the money and the material things, that doesn't bring happiness, right? You have to be happy. You have to be happy to make your wife happy, right? I have to be happy to make my husband happy. Because if I'm not happy, I'm going to be all
1,000%,
you know, moody and mad, and then it gets that, you know. So you have to find happiness in yourself, whatever it is. Whether if your happiness is being a stay-at-home mom or working or running businesses or traveling, whatever it is, you have to find that happiness. Otherwise, we'll just go through life just do, you know, till we die, and it's so short.
I love it, Shanti. I love it, Shanti. This was good. This was a really good conversation. I really enjoyed this. I learned a lot. I think there's a lot that we can extract from this, even as, you know, we're listening or just, you know, but this has been really good for me. I learned so many different things that I'm like, I don't want to really get in. Like, it's going to extend the conversation way too long, but I'm glad you came out.
Like
here.
Your podcast, you're going to kill it. You're going to get the best agents, whether they're new,
thank you,
older vets. And then guess what? Then you're going to start getting endorsements.
Yeah.
And then, you know,
come on, keep it going. Expand the vision. Expand the vision. I love it.
No, actually, I do want to like end off on this. Like sometimes we're like, I'm not going to sell any homes today, or I'm going to go to this open house and there's going to be nobody here. I'm going to waste my weekend. What we think happens, right? So use your words wisely. Wake up and say, today's going to be a great day. I'm going to close some deals. My kids are going to do great on tests. Like, you just never know what that call is going to be. We just have to change our mindset. Because I used to be that person that was like, oh my God, this is like, I don't even want today to be today. I don't feel like working. I don't want to do this. Oh my gosh, I don't feel like working out. I'm exhausted. No, we have to really change our mindset. Yeah. And that's so important in this life we live.
Absolutely. 100%. 100%. I think that's a good place to put it. And thanks for coming.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Awesome.